There's a growing international push for Hamas to accept the terms of the U.S.-supported ceasefire. Hamas says it is proposing some new changes to the deal. So for more on this, let's bring in BBC News Middle East correspondent Hugo Bachega. Thanks for joining us, Hugo. So it seemed like both sides were potentially getting closer to a deal. But, you know, as the Secretary of State said, it took 2 weeks before we heard about some changes that Hamas wanted to add. What are the changes?
Yeah, so I think there's a new timeline that has been proposed by Hamas in response to that plan that was announced by President Biden and was put forward by these negotiators. And again, Hamas wants a guarantee from the Israelis that there will be a permanent ceasefire from the start of this deal, and also the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from the territory. Now, the Israelis seem to be rejecting those demands. An Israeli official said that this response by Hamas amounts to a total rejection of this plan. Now, it seems that efforts continue to try to bridge the gaps here between Hamas and Israel. The Americans, the Egyptians, the Qataris, who have been mediating those talks, will continue with these efforts. But again, it is a very difficult situation. And we heard yesterday from Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, who criticized Hamas for not yet accepting this deal. He said that the terms of this deal were very similar to a proposal that had been accepted by Hamas in May. And then he also questioned whether Hamas was engaging in these negotiations in good faith. So Hamas pushed back this morning, saying that it had reacted positively to the proposal that had been put forward, and that the only side of this proposal that hadn't yet publicly accepted the deal was the Israelis. So it seems that we're still, there's still a long way to go before we can contemplate the idea of a ceasefire deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely complicated, not just because of the issues, and there's also a prisoner release component to it. I think there was a disagreement, but it's also logistically, if we're talking about leaders of Hamas within Gaza, it's not always easy to speak, to continue that dialogue because there's a war going on. But I want to ask you about something else. Speaking of the war, there's almost sort of another front. Tensions are climbing along Israel's northern border with Lebanon. We know that there have been sort of a volleying of weapons back and forth. This has got to complicate the ongoing negotiations when there's Houthi rebels who are lobbing missiles at Israel.
Exactly. So yesterday there was the largest attack carried out by Hezbollah in this conflict in response to the assassination of a senior Hezbollah commander in Lebanon by the Israeli forces. And today, more attacks. It is now 22 minutes past 4 o'clock here in Israel. And in the last hour, the Israeli military said more than 40 drones and missiles had been launched from Lebanon. A number of those rockets were intercepted by the Israeli military, but there have been hits, and these hits have sparked fires in northern Israel. You can see it is incredibly hot here today in Jerusalem, and the situation is the same in northern Israel. So it is really easy for these fires to be ignited after those rockets, and also after those rockets are intercepted. And there is the feeling here that the situation is escalating along the border. The Israeli authorities over the last few weeks have been talking about that a time will come to deal with this problem. Many here in Israel say that the authorities will have to deal with Hezbollah at some point, that no country in the world would accept being on the receiving end of missiles and rockets almost on a daily basis. And obviously, tens of thousands of people have been displaced in northern Israel because of these constant attacks. Now, Hezbollah is saying that they are just supporting Hamas in this conflict, that any kind of ceasefire in Gaza would be observed in Lebanon as well. But I think concerns are rising that this violence could lead to a major confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah.
Hugo, thank you very much. And thanks for the correction. I had said Houthi, it's Hezbollah. Thank you very much.